to Thunkable, and I am going to be giving a short introduction of what Thunkable is, and that is what I can actually call our tools. The tools we are going to be using. The tools we are going to be using include we're going to be using Thunkable, just Thunkable, and we are also going to be using firebase. We're going to be using firebase. So these are the two tools that we are going to be using. And now when we talk about this Thunkable, this is Thunkable. And if you I want you now just to follow me as I do this. Now go to thunkable.com. All you just need to do to access Thunkable is just go to thunkable.com. That will actually take you to Thunkable. So this Thunkable, actually you can see their own page. The basic idea or basic point of what Thunkable is that it allows you to build custom application, meaning that it does not constrain you, it does not give you any constraint. It allows you to build custom application without the need to code, You can see great ideas are everywhere, join millions of creators bringing their ideas to life. So that means that without the need to know how to code, paraphrasing now, you can bring your idea to life using Thunkable. And the theme they also give it is, if you can think it, you can thunk it. You can thunk it. So now that is the first thing we are going to be using, and you can see that at some point we are actually getting some details from the database. We are getting some information from data. And that too, we are going to be using Excel. Yeah, so we are getting some details from the database. We are interacting with the database and we are saving information in the database and getting it back. And with that, we are going to be using Firebase. Firebase is just like a database that Google is giving you for free. Yeah, they try it for free. And also for some of it, in case depending on the idea you're working with or you're working on, you are going to be also be seeing how to work with data from Excel. So these are the three tools we are going to be using to conceptualize this big idea that we have, which is all in one store. So let us go ahead now. So let me just give a brief introduction to Thunkable. And now, but don't forget, we are going to be learning by doing, and at every point in time I am going to be explaining what I am doing. And now that you're on Thunkable.com, what I just want you to do at this point is I want you to create an account. If you don't have one, click on sign up. Sign up, it asks some basic information, your email, your password, and just like the usual thing when you are visiting a website or you are using an application for the first time. And after you have been able to sign up, you then go ahead to use the details that you have created to sign in or to log in. So but I already have an account, so I'll be going ahead to just sign in. And of course you might not have any of these projects, but for now I am not going to be looking at all these projects. So what we are going to be doing is we are going to be clicking on this create new project. You might not see it like this, but just find a way of getting this button called create new project, or you might call it get started. So just find a way of clicking on the create new project, and it will ask you for your project name. Don't forget, your project is just the application you want to build. And just like if a coder or a programmer want to build an application, it starts, okay, I want to build this application, and the name I'm going to be giving to this is this, and the name I'm going to be giving to that is that. So you also want to embark on a journey of creating an application, of building a solution. So of course you need to give it, so you can either call it an application, you can call it a project, you can call it a solution. But for now, the theme that the Thunkable would like to call it, or call our application, our solution, or our idea, is actually project. So I go ahead to name the project, and the name I'm going to be giving to the project is, let's see, all in one store. All in one, all in one store. So that's the name. Of course, I think it will take an underscore. So let's just call it. Of course, we are still going to be building the same thing. Or should we still call it UJ Logistics? Let's just call it UJ Logistics so that we'll just be replicating exactly what we have before. But the idea of what we are building is we are building all in one store, but that all in one store looks very generic. So in that we are trying to narrow down the name or this the theme or the tag that we're giving to our project. So now we have given the project a name, and let us go ahead to give it a category. Of course, you can see different categories that you can use to categorize your application. Of course, you also have, you can select more than one. If it's books, business, developer tool, education, entertainment, food and drinks, what anything you feel like, okay, my project or my application belong to any of these, you can just, of course, shopping, think that is one category that my application belongs to. And I also say I'm also testing, since I'm seeing the workaround of Thunkable. And after I've been able to choose category for my application, and choose as many as is depending on you. There's no crime in that. So I'll go ahead to, of course, make sure that this public is on, and the public is on, and also the drag and drop builder is also ticked. Make sure that this is not ticked, this is not on tick. Make sure that it is ticked, and this is all you need for this place. I go ahead and click on create project. Take some time, and after some few seconds you have your project created, and boom, we have our application in here. You can see the interface. Now the basic introduction of what I am going to be showing you is what we can call our components. So I will call this box, I'll call this box introduction to Thunkable. So that at every point in time you will know what I am doing, and I'm going to be introducing you to what we can call, we are going to be seeing design, we are going to be seeing block, and we are going to be seeing components. So these are the three words that you should familiarize yourself with anytime you are actually talking about Thunkable. The first one is design, the second one is block, and the third one is components. Everything we're going to be building all depend on that, all dependent. Of course, I'm going to be introducing you to more and more as time goes on, but for now let us just look at introducing ourselves to Thunkable using those three keywords: design, blocks, and components. The first one is design. Design is like the front end of your application, which is what you can see. You can see that the active tab now is design. You can see that we also have another tab called blocks, but the tab that is currently active now is design, meaning that your interface, which is where you get your button, your label. Anytime you hear label is just like a text, the rich text, the image, the text inputs, the groups. If you want to group some of these components together, and data input, and it goes on and on and on and on, depending on what you want to build. So this is the design, which is the interface, and for every, so the design, let me jump from design to components. The design is like the front end of the application, what the user can see, not the, in an application we have the design or the interface or what the user can see, and we also have the logic that is powering it. We have a logic that is powering it, but now where we are currently is what the user can see. Like, okay, if I want the user to see a button, I'll just click on this button and I'll put it on my page. So you can see The design is the interface, what you can see, and you can see that you have a screen. The screen is just like your page. The screen is like your page, or the particular page that the user. Okay, we can have the home page. If I create another, we can if I create another one, I can say this is maybe the registration page. If I create another one, I can say maybe this is the dashboard. If I create another one, I can say maybe this is the product details page, and so on and so forth. So you can see, as I'm creating, to create your screen, you have to be adding plus plus plus, and it will be creating. And if I come to this component tree, component is just the tools, or the, I can call it tools, yeah, or the element that is actually right, the element that make up your design. So just like a tree now, just like we are building a tree, the parent is the parent is the design, and the design now have different elements or different child elements under it, and all these child elements are called components. So you can see under this component tree we have the screen, and under the screen we can also have some other sub elements. So the screen is like the page, and on a page you can have button, you can have text, you can have input feed, and so on and so forth. So this is where you can work with your components. Let's say you want to rename it, you can press this edit button and maybe change this to screen edit, and press enter, and you have it. But you can also delete it using this icon of delete. So you actually want to delete, I'll say I want to delete. Yes, you delete, and you also delete. At least you should have minimum of one.